Hi everybody, and welcome to this session called An Open Cloud for European Researchers, Staff and Students. It's a private-public sector collaboration between Walton Institute, SETU and Red Hat. The presentation will take the format of who, what, why, when, where and how. And we'll start with the who. My name is Colm Dunphy. I've been with Red Hat for 2 years as a senior manager in the office of the CTO, Emerging Technologies. Prior to that, I spent 30 years at SETU as a lecturer in computing and working as a researcher and principal investigator with Walton, previously called TSSG. My colleague here today is John Ronan. He's 20 years at Walton and he runs the Walton Research Data Centre. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, so I'm it. So who are the organizations involved in this? It's Red Hat, IBM, Walton, and the MOC Alliance and SETU. Now, if you haven't heard of SETU, it's the Southeast Technological University. It's in the southeast of Ireland. 18,000 students, 2,000 staff. Walton is the highest ranked Irish TU for European ICT research funding. They have 80 plus researchers and engineers, 750 partners, 450 industry projects in 45 countries, 25 PhD graduates. You should be familiar with the MOC Alliance from Boston. Academic stakeholders include Boston University, Harvard, MIT, industry stakeholders, Red Hat, Lenovo, IBM, Dell, AMD, and Intel, among others. So who is this aimed at? Well, initially, the students at SETU, but also staff and researchers in SETU, Walton, Red Hat, and IBM. What is it, this open cloud? Well, we have to step back and look at what our motivation was in setting this up. And we go back to the MOC Alliance. The vision of the MOC Alliance is to create an inexpensive production open public cloud operated and governed by academic institutions for research and education. It started as a community project in 2013 called Operate First, then became the MOC, and in 2020 evolved into an alliance. The Mass Open Cloud today is all about open distributed platform, enabling AI and ML workloads, leveraging Red Hat technology via university partnership. It features large diverse data sets, large scale compute resources. There's 100 plus GPUs, 500 servers, and 156 petabytes of storage, and the sovereign AI cloud capability. So this is in the New England Research Cloud. It's housed in the Massachusetts Green High Performance Computing Center with storage provided by NESI. So what this does is it enables containers on Red Hat OpenShift and AI as a service through OpenShift AI. Example projects include AI for drug discovery, featured at Red Hat Summit, the OKD, which is the upstream of OpenShift, and InstructLab on the MOC. Also, the Fedora community use it. And you can read about the developments of the MOC in Red Hat Research Quarterly. So let's talk about this SETU Walton Open Cloud. The Walton Data Centre operates EU projects and testbeds on the European Research Grid. It used to manage the National Irish Supercomputer, and we've repurposed it to provide a low-cost cloud to students, staff, and researchers. Current configuration is 3 OpenShift multi-node cluster setups called Walton OCP, SETU OCP, and the Red Hat OCP. So the Walton one is used for testing and configuration. The SETU one is used for classes and labs with SETU students. And the Red Hat one is used by my team for multi-cluster upstream development, proof of concepts, and research projects. Configuration. The Walton involves 3 control nodes and 3 single worker nodes, including dual GPU node. The SETU one is 3 control nodes, 3 single worker nodes, and it has 80 CPU cores. The Red Hat one is a bit more different. It's a multi-cluster setup with a hub cluster with 3 control worker nodes plus 1 worker with 2 GPUs. We've installed operators for ACM, Red Hat OpenShift AI, and NVIDIA GPUs, and we have 2 single node OpenShift clusters. Access management is done through IDP LDAP for Walton and SETU. For Red Hat, it's a GitHub organization. And we have planning to move to single sign-on for SETU students and staff, and single sign-on using the Red Hat single sign-on. GPUs that we're using at the moment, a little bit older, so we've P100s and V100s. And this is the Red Hat OCP in the OpenShift console. So this is just a picture of the data center that we have in Waterford in the southeast of Ireland, and a couple of shots I took from inside in the racks. So why? Well, each stakeholder has their reasons. The MOC-A, Walton, SETU, and Red Hat. So the MOC-A Alliance desire for global expansion. So they want to expand outside of America. That comes with it issues including NIS2 compliance, export controls, and GDPR issues for Europe. So the MOC currently stores your Red Hat ID in all its logs, and this makes it incompatible for GDPR. So we're exploring federation through something called Educate, which creates a pseudo ID which can then be stored in the logs so that you can't associate the user with the logs. There's also potential to be a provider for the EU Open Science Cloud, where there's no export control issues. For Walton, the reasons are to provide a low-cost cloud infrastructure to enable SET students to work on this. We have originally OpenStack on Ubuntu, trying to keep the cost down. And by engaging with Red Hat, we facilitated a move to Red Hat OpenShift AI on RHEL, on bare metal, and or OpenStack. For SETU, it's about cultivating the relationship with industry and Red Hat, preparing students for internships and employment, enabling students, staff, and researchers to practice open cloud technologies in a persistent way with predictable costs, not AWS costs, and full feature access. So, for example, 5 million CPU hours last year were racked up, which equates to about €500,000 in AWS CPU cost alone. And we're only using about 10% of the hardware there. For Red Hat, it's about promoting Red Hat strategy, open source, hybrid cloud, AI, Red Hat technologies, and cultivating future talent, strengthening the university relationship. So I'm going to go through the timeline. We go back to Q2 24, we started having informal discussions about the MOC, supercomputer, data center. Q3 24, we started installing the hardware, reconfiguring that national supercomputer. Q1 25, we had 3 single node clusters set up with 2 terabytes of storage on each cluster. First class of students started using it at SETU as a prototype, and Red Hat Waterford and the OCTO team started using it. In Q2 this year, we reconfigured to multi-node clusters, and we added additional lectures and Red Hat engineers as well. Then we tore it all down over the summer to make more efficient use of resources. We added capability to introduce new features, GPUs for AI. Q4, the plan is more GPUs and accelerators, add more users, up to 100 students. Then into 2026, we'll be doing a network upgrade, storage upgrade, and then that will allow us to deploy additional loads that we already have in waiting. We're adding 16 GPUs by way of H200s in Q2 26. But the big news for 2026 is we will be adding a Z17 mainframe. So we'll be doing the onboarding for that, adding it to the cloud, and then scaling up with users, modules, courses. So I mentioned the IBM Z mainframe. This is the first mainframe optimized for AI workloads, inferencing, 82 Telum 2 processors, 32 Spire GPU accelerators, which means we should be able to put PyTorch, VLLM, and LLMD to good use. Plenty of storage, networking, and RAM. So we're quite excited about this, and this is in partnership with the local IBM mainframe team that have just joined us in Waterford, in the Red Hat office, which is the first fully integrated Red Hat IBM office. So where is this all happening? We're in Ireland, in the southeast, a place called Walton Institute, Net Labs on the SETU campus. The guy in the middle there is the guy that should be standing next to me speaking. That's him in the data center. and just a shot then of the actual data center, which is next to the Waterford Greenway. So how is this done? So I'm going to put myself in John's shoes now, okay? So we needed to fully understand the capabilities of OpenShift as we move from OpenStack. So 2 all-in-one systems were deployed on bare metal. We deployed one on physical tin, then added another, ran out of hardware, so we recycled it, and then again, and again, and again, and again. In the end, we had 8 highly available multi-node clusters being deployed over multiple iterations, maturing into 3 OCPs that you see here. So we have a standard deployment with tweaks for storage and networking, providing virtual machines, storage using LVMS for snapshots, using SCSI and NFS for all PVCs, and for the networking, external networks for public-private networks. Essentially, infrastructure as a service rather than platform as a service on first deployment, stepping stone from OpenStack. So we also used ACM for the Red Hat OCP. So the current setup configuration, the deployments are constantly evolving. Systems were rebuilt over the summer to the latest version updates. We enabled the internal containers registry in OpenShift, and we added GPU nodes. We also added operators for new SETU teaching environment, including level 9 modules in information security and design patterns, level 8 modules for DevOps practice and computer forensics. And we have ACM, Red Hat OpenShift AI, and the NVIDIA GPU operators. So the results and impact, we have 20 Red Hatters using it, 11 staff in Walton, 20 in SETU, 2 IBMers, and then for academia, 100 students and 10 researchers. Courses, we have 4 courses, 2 at Masters and 2 at BSc. So to gain access, you can contact me at cdunphy if you're in Red Hat. cdunphy@redhat.com is my email, and my LinkedIn is there as well. Special thanks to Jerry, John, and Martin, who are the people behind making it all work. And that's it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Yeah, so this is in Europe, it's a control that we have to have relating to how you use data. In America, you can use data whatever way you like. Personal data. In Europe, there are strong legislative controls about how you can use data. So for example, we mentioned about the logs. You can't have personal information available and just make it available to anybody. If we look at the MOC itself, the MOC enables you to use data sets. So if you're a researcher, you can put your data up, and then anybody can use that data. So GDPR prevents that. So you have to say what you're going to use the data for, and you can only use it for that purpose. Okay? Thanks. Yeah.
So do you think Red Hat is trying to target institutions, companies to make them adopt the sovereign cloud? I know AWS is working on a sovereign cloud for the EU. Do you think we'll ever try to tackle them?
So we actually have the sovereign cloud expert right next to you. Well, I'll start, and maybe Heidi, you can add. So Europe again is very strong on legislation, and that's where the push for sovereignty is coming from. Mm-hmm. So if you want to work in Europe and you want your technology in Europe, you have to facilitate that. So that's where it's really coming from. It's not that Red Hat is pushing it. Mm-hmm. Am I right in this?
Yeah. We're recognizing the opportunities.
Yeah.
to get it out, and we've developed a lot of the architecture that can support it because of the way that the MOC is a collaboration of different universities, right? So it's already the idea of, there's not one owner of all of the infrastructure, and they're superpowered, allowed to see everything, right? So the model is already there on a smaller scale, and seeing if we can adapt it and make it something that the countries in Europe would be interested in supporting would be awesome.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Okay. Thank you very much.